And I have a friend who is now a very famous storyteller, TV producer. And I said had a friend that at some point started behaving differently toward me, and I did not know why.
Yeah.
And this person said to me, we keeping it real.
Yep.
So I might get a little sad, but I'm disappointed in you.
Hey, Mom.
What's up?
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 And we are back. Oh my gosh,
we're
we
back.
are here with season 2 of Moms Actually. How do you guys feel?
I feel so good.
I feel
Yes.
incredible.
Season 2, this is where motherhood meets.
Sisterhood.
So I'm Sopa Rush,
And Morgan Taylor.
I'm Blair Jumpy.
and today we have a special guest. We have Codie Oliver. She is a film director as well as a producer, as well as the co-creator of Black Love. She also has multiple podcasts.
Busy.
Yes, she is a busy woman. She is a mom of 3 boys, beautiful boys, and she's married to the love of her life, Tommy Oliver. So
Yes.
welcome.
Hi,
We're glad to have you.
We are. So today's topic, we are discussing purpose and what that looks like, goals, passions, and all of the things. And we're about to jump right into it's giving motherhood.
Yes.
So this is how we play the game. So we have a paddle,
Okay.
and I'm going to list off a bunch of questions, and you're either going to say yes or no, or maybe, depending on what the question
Is
is.
yes my gold side?
Yes,
Okay.
goals is yes,
Okay.
and white is no.
Heck no.
Heck no.
Yes.
Okay, let's start. And it's rapid. It's kind of rapid, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and, okay.
First thought.
Yep.
First one, did you know that you wanted to be when you were a child?
Yes.
No.
No.
Yes and no. Do you work in the fields where you went to school for?
No.
No.
Definitely not.
Technically.
Oh,
I guess.
you were broadcast journalism?
Yeah. And eventually film.
Stalker.
It was great.
Do your family and friends support your goals and passion? Yes.
Yes.
They not always used to, but now they do.
Oh,
Okay.
They
Yeah.
stepped up.
Unpack that.
Yeah.
Do you keep your goals private? It depends.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're walking in your calling?
Yes.
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Have you ever felt like you were behind in life?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
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 For sure.
Have you put your desires on hold because of motherhood?
Yes. Sometimes.
And
It was
Unintentional.
kind of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right? Sometimes.
I didn't realize it.
Yeah.
Required.
also, are you happy with the choices you made to get to where you are today?
Yeah.
Yes.
Certainly.
I feel like yes.
Yes.
We're going through our whole life.
Right.
We're gonna unpack that.
We're gonna unpack that.
Have you felt mom guilt for putting your goals as a top priority?
Yes.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah, right?
Depends. Do you feel pressure to start a business or to do more to raise your kids if you have a 9-to-5?
I don't have a 9 to 5. So.
I
I don't have a
I
Yeah,
got
it's
a
like
24/7, so no.
24/7.
Right.
I know.
Right.
Okay, well let's go ahead and unpack.
Yeah.
You said you were like, sometimes it's required to put your dreams on hold a little bit.
Yes.
So explain that one for me.
So, I mean, look, I don't want to speak for everyone,
Yeah.
right? But I think that where that was coming from for me isn't simply like putting my dreams on hold, but sort of adjusting
Yeah.
what either they look like or what the process to achieving something looks
Certainly.
like. Because like there's so many sacrifices that have to be made simply to like get them to school.
Yes.
Or, you know what I mean? Or
Yes.
like, or like, oh, make sure they learn to swim. Like that's sort of where I am in
Yes.
2022
Yes.
is like, what are the things that they need to be doing and how do I make sure that I achieve that? And so, yeah, there are things that go on the back burner so that I can, you know, have more of a regular schedule, which doesn't really serve my business,
Yes.
but you know, so
Yeah.
those are the sacrifices I'm talking about.
That's really true.
Those kids need a schedule too.
Now,
Yeah.
so you
Yeah.
said about your family and friends as far as like just the supporting, because that I feel like that means a lot. It's very important when you're going through these journeys and you're like taking a chance on yourself. You need that support, especially with children, because you need them
Yeah.
to kind of help out.
Yep.
So what was that like for you?
I think people just didn't know the vision that God gave me, and so it was hard for them to understand what I wanted to accomplish. And so for them, they wanted to be supportive, but they didn't know how to support me because I also didn't know how to communicate how I needed that support from them. So for me, I just had to keep my eyes focused on me and God and be like, this is what God is wanting me to do in my purpose. And I just literally put my head down and just kept it moving. And now it's the complete opposite. They're very thankful that I didn't give up on my dreams or I didn't stop because
Did it take you having some success for people to be like, oh,
Of course.
right,
Yes.
yes.
That makes
Good
sense.
job.
It was hard because like you want people
Yeah.
to go with you throughout the whole
Yeah.
journey, but sometimes they have to meet you up here to
See,
understand.
my family was like too supportive before I was doing anything. I was like, I'm actually fine not doing it. I had worked since I was 15, and there was like a period where I was just a stay-at-home mom, and I was fine with it. I
Yeah.
was like, I can lay in bed, I can rest, but because it was kind of similar to that last question, everybody's has a business. Everybody's got something going on. So if you don't have something going on, are you actually fulfilled? Are you actually happy?
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm actually good, and I'm not about to like force myself to do something just so everybody can be like, Blair's doing something. But everybody's like, you have something inside of you. I'm like, great, but right now, I don't want to do nothing.
Yeah.
So now I have questions.
Yeah, I was like, my passion is just sitting here right now and taking a nap all day because these kids wear me out.
Yeah, that's true.
Morgan, do you feel like you have to keep your goals private, with your family or your friends?
You know what? I think it just depends on what the goals are, because it's very easy, especially if they feel or sound crazy. It's very easy for people to be like, well, wait, you gotta hold on a little bit, or you gotta make sure that the kids X, Y, and Z, because that's a thing too. It kind of goes hand in hand with the mom guilt. That's why I kind of answered like sometimes, because people do sometimes they're like, wait, you're gonna be gone for how long? And what about the kids? And what are they gonna do? And it's like, okay, yes, but there's seasons and there's rhythms and there's reasons and choices I make. When I know I'm gonna be home, I do certain things, and then when I know I'm not, I communicate that with my kids, as well as my family. I wanna ask you, is there any time where you felt like, okay, I'm stuck? Like, I have these children, and I've created these businesses.
Right.
I've you're successful. People know who you are and what you do, and they're like looking for it. You know what I mean? But you're also balancing motherhood.
Yes. So stuck, like I can't make any large pivots because.
Yes.
Yeah.
You said, which one first?
I mean, I feel like stuck is a harsh word.
It is, yes.
But I understand it, and there are moments of it. But I would say right now. I would say this year.
Yeah.
I have, like, my kids started school. The baby started school summer 22. My oldest has been in school, but like all of that is such a huge transition, and wanting to be there for them in a certain way, wanting to have routines in place that I just simply don't have because there's so much business to do and to run. And then there's so much business to do and to run. Like, right, there's things that are on the horizon that like I have to, we've already started down this path. Not to say that I regret any of them, but sometimes when I look up and I'm like, what can I stop doing? Or what can I take away? Or what can I pull back on? That's the stuck I feel. Is like the train is moving and I'm just on it, like trying to do everything. And add to that, my husband, who's a full-time TV and film producer, like literally this last couple of months was on three movies at the same time in different states. So I like really have to be extra mom. So I'm just on the train.
Resource, baby.
But how was it when you first started? Like, how old were your kids when you started? I know you started probably before Black Love, but Black Love is what catapulted you. Like, how old were they? How was it starting that?
So Brooks, our oldest, was born October 2016, and we licensed the series to OWN, I would say September.
Oh my gosh, so they're twins.
So yes, yes, Brooks and Black Love are twins.
Wow.
Yeah, even though the show didn't premiere till 2017.
But the work.
First season, it was like we knew what it was going to be. We'd done very extensive pitch materials, and so when they said, "All right, we want it," we had to finish it. And so I was working 5 weeks in to motherhood, and then with the babies, I started working 3 weeks after they were born.
Wow.
I don't recommend that. Okay.
But no, but I think that's really a good point to talk about, because I think so often we did like one last post right before we went off of season 1 about just our purpose and how we gave our yes, and you know, we finally just said yes to ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of moms were basically like, I don't know how to get from point A to point B, and saying, okay, I am in a lot right now. There's a lot of things going on. I feel like I have to take care of this, but I also want to honor me in my season. So what was that for you? Like, was it just like, I'm in it now?
Yeah.
She's like, what choice do I have?
It's different depending on the season, right? But like for sure, right now, it's like I'm in it now. You know, with, for instance, so with going to work after 5 weeks of having my son, knowing that I was having twins in 2018, and there was so much that we were doing. Like I literally had them in November 2018, and we had the third, maybe second or third Black Love Summit. No, it was the first Black Love Summit, October 2018. And we launched blacklove.com October 2018.
You like to just do things in
No, I don't. I really don't. I swear. But like, there's certain things. I said like, I don't want to do what I did the first time.
Yeah.
And so while I did have to work, I had to. I tried to make sure that I had the best support system around me. So it's really about finding what you can for yourself in those moments. You know, of pursuing your dream and knowing that like this opportunity I can't miss. So what's the best way I can set myself up for like mental and emotional success as well as professional success?
That's good. I have a question for everybody. So what, or do you feel like there is? Do you feel like there is a difference between passion and purpose?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I
so.
feel like your passion fuels your purpose. At least for me, anyways. Yeah.
The only reason why I ask is because a lot of people also on that post, they were like, well, how do I know what my purpose is? How do I know what I want to do? Because we all have experienced this, I'm sure, of as soon as you have children, you kind of forget like what you love, you forget what your passions are. But I also recognize that just because something is a passion, it doesn't mean it's my purpose.
Yeah.
I also think some people just don't realize that their passion can't be their purpose because it doesn't look like what everybody's doing. It doesn't look like this big TV show, or it doesn't look like, you know, a fashion line. It might be braiding hair, it might be cooking, it could be anything. But if you're passionate about it, most things are hard up front, but it pays off because you're loving what you're doing. So I think people think it's not aligned because it doesn't look a certain way. So
I agree.
The perfect example is actually a stay-at-home mom, someone who wants to be a homemaker. And I always struggle with that because I'm like, I've always had a desire to be a homemaker. I want to bake for my family, have a garden. I want to have chickens. Like, I want that lifestyle.
Not the chicken.
But
Yeah,
the
chicken.
chicken.
We all want to bake. She wants chicken.
She wants
I want
chicken.
chicken.
I want to go to her cow too.
But like the pull or the struggle of feeling like, is that really is that purposeful?
Is that enough?
Because it's not bringing in money?
Please
but,
no, yes.
But it really is.
Yes, it is. I think it's a six-figure job. They
it
have
really
confirmed
is.
being a stay-at-home mom is a six-figure job.
So
Especially when you add the chicken.
if you're so passionate and you're so
I can't stand it.
I'm just saying.
I want to give eggs to all my friends and family. Just hand them baskets.
This
and
is so
just everything.
That is true. There was something on the internet that said, like, you know, stay-at-home mom is not considered a job, but then when you hire somebody to be your cook, to be your cook, like for some reason,
House
those are all
manager,
jobs, but when you're doing
assistant,
it.
all of that stuff.
Someone told me to call it a domestic engineer. So
Oh,
when somebody
what you add engineering to this experience?
So they were like, if somebody asks you what you do and you want to like sound more intense, like,
I'm
I'm
using
a
that.
domestic engineer.
I'm using that.
I know a
love that.
woman, so in the film business, right? So her husband was a major film producer, and she used to say, he produces films, I produce the family.
Oh, that's
I like
Like,
that.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I like that a lot. Yeah. What would you say to someone who is like in that moment though? Like they're like, I've just had my child. I'm pretty much sitting here and staring into space trying to figure out what I want to do.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
It's
we've
true.
all been there. Like I know I have literally been holding my baby and just looking at the wall like, okay,
Staring out the window.
yeah, like there's got to be something,
Yeah.
especially when you are in a season of everybody's life is on display.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it's also very, very hard not to compare your passion and your
Yeah.
purpose
Yeah.
with someone else's and kind of get that misconstrued. So what would you say to someone who is in that season of like, okay, I just need to take a step?
I mean, that would be the first thing, is just don't compare. Like,
Yeah.
literally, just know that Instagram and whatever else is not real.
It's not.
And don't compare. But the other thing is really what we're all saying is, like, lean into your passion, figure out what you love. I don't know, this is coming up for me, but there was something that Oprah used to say about, like, whatever it is you love, like, be the best person
Yes.
you can be at it.
Yep.
And she supported this woman who I guess used to do her pedicures,
Oh.
and her brand is the Foot Nanny,
Oh.
right? And
wow.
so, like, yeah, the point, like, if you do something,
Yeah.
no matter what it is, like, be the best you are at it, and
Yes.
somebody is gonna come along, you know, or lots of people,
Yeah.
and support you and be a part of that business.
Love that.
That's good. The foot nanny.
The foot nanny.
Foot nanny.
Yeah, no,
She got products.
Yeah.
Like, yes.
that's good.
There is no dream too small.
That's true though. Like I think that's what people need to hear is there is no purpose, there's no dream that is too small for you because it's a lot of times where we feel
Yeah.
like we are inadequate because someone else is
Yeah.
doing something
Yeah.
better.
Oof.
And that's just not the case. I do want to ask because we've all said like Instagram's not real, you know, the highlight reels are beautiful,
They
but
are.
does anybody have a story that they would like to share where they felt like, all right, I failed at this. Like I failed and I failed miserably and I'm like, I had to overcome that because I think that that's
Yeah.
something that's important for people to hear. Y'all know we talk really real on here. But I think it's a good thing for people to witness is that like, hey, I overcame that. I didn't quit. I didn't give up even though I wanted to.
Yeah.
Does anybody have one of those?
I do. I know the first time I had a podcast, Mom Goals 2020, during the pandemic, because even though when I became a mother, I did not like the mothering part of it. I was like, I realized it was my passion to do similar to this, like be honest about it, be
Yeah.
transparent about it. So I started it with my friend and she brought in her friend, and then working with friends is working with friends. So then it all just kind of
Yeah.
disappeared, and I was so disappointed because I'm so passionate about this.
Yeah.
And then there was we started this, so 2 years in between that's where I was just stay-at-home mom,
Yeah.
doing,
Yeah.
nothing else. And I was sad that didn't work out, but I wasn't trying to force myself just to start something new.
Yeah.
And everybody would be like, oh, when you did Mom Goals, it was so good, you need to bring it back. And it just felt like so much pressure. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes I don't tell people what I want to do because then you get pressured to actually do
Do
something
it.
about it.
Yes.
And I'm like, but I don't want to do nothing about it right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I still felt called to it. I
Yeah.
did. And that's how me and Morgan met at a conference, actually, like talking about you have permission to like pursue, like this is your calling. But
Yeah.
I was so disappointed when it stopped, and but I knew it never left me. And
Yeah.
I never let it leave me, but I definitely sat on it for like 2 years
Yeah.
just doing
Look where we're at.
nothing. I know, and then we're here. So
Yeah.
it turned out good. It's a
Yeah.
happy story.
But that's a lesson too. Like I think in the moment it felt like,
It was over.
This is over, and it almost sometimes we can also rob ourselves of success because we're so quick to try to pull ourselves out of a hole
Yes.
instead of letting it just
Yeah.
kind
I
of.
didn't want to force it. They're like, you can get other people to do it. Just ask random people or another friend or do it by yourself. And I'm like, it's not supposed to be by myself.
Yeah.
Right.
I want it to be like comfortable with who I'm doing. So I didn't want to force it. And every time someone would bring it up, I'd be like, I feel like I was doing it out of my own strength. And that
Yeah.
it wouldn't have
Yeah.
been what it
Yeah.
was supposed to be. So
Yeah.
I was sitting around while people are like, you just want to be, that's all you're going to
just
do?
wanna be
You
at the
wanna
house?
sit- Yeah, that's it. I had to get off social media for like 3 months because
Yeah.
everybody was doing
Yeah.
something, and I'm like, it wasn't comparison in looks. I was like, it was comparison in everybody
Yeah.
doing
Accomplishment.
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I
What
just-
about you, Morg?
I mean, I could go on for days.
Morgan got a life, y'all. That's what y'all got to know. Morgan got
She got a story for everything.
Morgan got
ahead.
stories on any given day.
No, but I'm like, which one do I pick? No, I've had a lot of moments. I will definitely say that just similar to Blair, like even in the last 2 years, truly, if I think about the amount of things that I was like, okay, I'm getting ready to do this. I'm like stepping out. I used to be in the corporate world. Like I always knew, even when we were talking about, I always knew I wanted to be in some form of entertainment or, talk show vibes or, whatever that looked like. But I kind of thought, I'm just about to be at this cubicle behind this desk or in this office for the rest of my life because I also had my first child at 20. So it was always like a hustle bustle. This is what I was providing right now, you know. And then I finally stepped into the creative world and I thought I was doing so well.
You are.
I thought I was.
You are.
And the person I was working for said, "You gotta go."
Oh man, I want to know.
She said, "Wait,
She was doing good. She
like
was
the
doing a
story.
good job.
yeah, like that was my first like
She
creative."
grew that company.
Yeah, like it was my first thing. So I was like, "Oh my gosh, like this is it. I think I'm finally walking in it." And no, but it made me take a moment, kind of like Blair was saying. Like, for a second I was like, okay, I heard Jesus wrong. Like I wasn't supposed to quit my job. I was off, you know. And so I literally sat in bed for a couple days. I let myself feel that, and I was grateful for my husband to let me feel that.
Yeah.
Because I was like, babe, I actually don't have anything to give right now. But then I literally just prayed and I said, okay, God, like if I'm supposed to do this, then you will let me know. And he let me know, and then I met Blair.
Yeah.
And then I just kept going, because there's still days. And I think that's really important to share, that there are days where I'm like,
Weeks.
you sure? Yeah, like it took me everything to even get here. So I'm like, there are days where I'm like, man.
It ain't easy.
Yeah, and I think sometimes because we make it look so beautiful, it's hard for people to aspire. But I want people to know that it is not a cakewalk. And the harder is sometimes, the more you know that you're doing the right thing. And so that's my encouraging advice, because I've had some moments.
What's the story leading up to Black Love? Like, was your first pitch the winner, or like?
Yes.
No. She said out the gate.
I'm gonna tell you guys two stories. I'm gonna remind me that question, right? Because what's coming up for me when you ask, because I think I had a hard time with the word failure when you asked about it that way, because I can't think of anything where I'm just like, oh, I failed, right? But like, there's a lot of lessons and things that felt like failure in the moment.
Yes.
And so the thing that pops up for me is, let me try to summarize. You know, I've been in this business since 2007, coming to grad school. I went from Howard, broadcast journalism, hated that, and then film school at USC, and had a lot of great friends. And you know, you want to grow and build with your peers. And so, fast forward to about 5 years in. Option scripts, like my goal is to produce, but you know, you don't make a lot of money out here. So I had a lot of things, like I hadn't made anything, right? Made a movie, you know, I hadn't, so all of those like tiny failures. I'm working at a nonprofit organization that's a film, they do film labs and Independent Spirit Awards, et cetera. And I have a friend who is now a very famous storyteller, TV producer, and I said had a friend that at some point started behaving differently toward me, and I did not know why. And this person said to me, we keeping it real, so I might get a little sad, but I'm disappointed in you. This is after this person had made a movie and I hadn't, right? She said, I'm disappointed in you, and I never thought that I would make a movie before you. Yeah, it was really painful. It was really painful. And this was 2013, I think. And that felt like failure. I mean, there were all the failures leading up to it, but it was like, that was very painful from a friend. And I had to sit with that for years because this person's star was rising. And then I don't mean as a comparison, but you see it, right? Just like social media, right? You see it in front of you all the time.
Get away from it. Or
And so those are the kinds of things that you can internalize, which I did at times. You can internalize and get stuck, right, and stagnant. And I still have to combat that sometimes. Like, man, I thought by this time I would have done that too.
We all looking at you like you that chick.
Certainly.
And so yeah, that definitely, those are the kinds of things that happen. Right? And so in answer to your question about Black Love, right, it's something that was on my spirit for a long time. And I didn't know exactly what I was going to do because documentaries were not cool. When I first had the idea, I was like, maybe this is a coffee table
They lit
book,
now.
right? It's like that was not a thing, right? So fast forward to when so I met Tommy, and he's a cinematographer and producer as well as a director, and I told him about the idea, and he was like, let's make it. Let's go. Like, let's do this doc. And I'm like,
you guys were married.
Okay. No, girl.
Oh, you guys weren't
We
even-
met September. We started talking about it in October. I, at the time, worked for Canon, the film company, and I convinced Canon to give Tommy a loan for
Wait
free
a minute.
cameras because he's a cinematographer. So I was like, give this man, that was my job, to connect Canon to like filmmakers. I was like, he needs a camera loan so he can make this project, Black Love, right? And by January, we had convinced them to give him the cameras. By May, we received them. And September, I quit my job. And we started shooting lots of things, but Black Love was one of them. And so while we were shooting Black Love, we were applying for grants. And we were constantly told no. Like we were constantly like, that's it? It's just couples on a couch. That's all they're gonna. That's all
they only knew. There's couples telling the truth on that couch.
Yeah.
So all of those no's is what led us to just make it, to just like do it. And so by the time we went out and pitched it, we'd already pivoted to a docu-series because those weren't cool until they were cool. And then we were like, cool, let's do that. And we pivoted to a docu-series. And when we pitched the show, it was like done. We had already done 50 plus interviews. We had done the first episode. We had a whole sizzle for the whole first season. So it was an easy yes for OWN and a couple of other people who were interested. And some said no still, but it was done. Like we knew what it was. And you can't, it's harder to say no to something that you can see and laugh at and smile at. Whereas all of these people who weren't Black for the most part, who were like, that's all it is. That's it. That's
like, have you been married?
Right.
Seeing this,
Right.
I don't know how you can say that's all it is.
But all of those no's led to us doing it differently.
Yeah, man. Well, this has encouraged me, I will say, and I really appreciate you for even joining us on this couch.
Yeah.
Because one, I've learned some things and it's been really good, but I'm just hoping that this has encouraged another mom that's watching this because it is real as we continue to raise our children. And I think what's been amazing too is we barely talked about our kids in this. For real. That's success, guys. Because this is about, yes, we're moms actually, but we're more than that. So I'm just grateful that you have been able to join us on the couch.
Is there anything you want to leave the people with?
Listen, I think that motherhood is challenging, and I know we haven't talked about the children, but at the end of the day, there's nothing more important than like sisterhood and motherhood. I think a lot of people like suffer in silence.
Yes.
Oh, gosh.
And there's nothing that you're gonna go through as a mom that somebody else hasn't gone through.
Certainly.
And if somebody looks at you like, ugh, then don't be friends with them.
Don't waste your
Like,
time.
it all happens. So just accept it and be supportive of each other.
Yeah, I love that.
Me too. Well, join us on IG Live for the after show. We're going to talk about this a little bit more.
Yes.
So make sure you tune in. And in the meantime, thanks for watching Moms Actually, where motherhood
Meets sisterhood.
Bye.
Hey mom,
What's up?
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 hey mom.